Hey everyone, I have a really exciting show for you today because as all of you know who watch this channel, I'm going through and doing my self-evaluation at the midpoint of the year, which is July 1st. And one of the things I'm committed to is going to more real estate events and growing my network outside of my one local market. And one of the first guys I reached out to, knowing what he does, is a gentleman that's been on this show before, runs an event called Flip Hacking Live, and his name is Bill Allen. How you doing this morning, Bill?
Good, Michael. How you doing?
I was so excited to say it, I fumbled over it. Flip Hacking Live.
It's a tongue twister. I have to say it from stage like 10, 20 times at this event. I was the MC last year, so I have to practice. I got to warm up.
So you get it, all right, good. Give you a small pass.
I've been in the same situation from stage, so don't worry about it. Last year in front of like 650 people. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, your event is going to be the first one I'm going to go to. Sort of as we've talked before, right? I was a full-time employee, traveled all over the world, did the whole one rental at a time, and eventually got to financial freedom. But I did it in one market, kind of heavy lift all by myself. And like we talked about, you're running a big business, you're giving back, you run mastermind groups, and you really inspired me when we talked, 5 months ago, I think it was right around the end of the year in December. And so I wanted to look up Flip Hacking Live. I saw some of the friends of mine and we're in that group of 650, and I'm like, I'm going to have to go to this one. It's in San Diego. I can drive there. So why don't we just introduce what it is and why it's such a passion project for you?
Sure. Yeah. So, we started this group, we started putting on this event about, it'll be the fourth year. So, the first year it was kind of a smaller event, maybe 150, 200 people were there. And, it's always been in San Diego in October, which is an incredible time to come to San Diego. Right.
Yeah.
So it's cold where I am. I love to fly to a place like that and be in warm weather in the winter. And it was a small group. We put, what we want to do is just put people on stage that just kind of opened up their business and shared like the secrets that they're doing, the systems, the processes, things that are moving the needle for them in their business, and just for 3 days come together and just share everything, not hold anything back. I feel like a lot of the places that I've been to or events, it's either like really heavy on the mindset and it's just a rah pump you up type event without the meat, right? It's kind of like all sizzle, no steak. So we wanted to give the steak. So we did it. We put it on for 3 days. It was widely successful. Like the first year, these people were going out and doing a ton of deals just from buying a ticket and being there for 3 days and listening to our speakers. So then the next year it became this, the next year was a little bit bigger. We had like 400 people there the next year, again in San Diego. And there's a lot of the same kind of thing. We were just putting more people on stage that they had seen from the first year or done it, and they just wanted to kind of open up the book to their business. So we don't hold anything back. It's really about trying to, share with the community as much as we can about everything that we're doing, what's working, what's not working, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, the feedback that I collected, because again, I value my reputation and my time beyond anything else. That's really what I've worked all my life for, is time. But the research that I did is it's exactly what you said, right? You're bringing people that are doing the business, are successful by pretty much any degree of anybody's evaluation. But even more than that, what I've seen from my review of your business and what you're putting out there, it's not just about profits, right? It's also about, being a great person, having a great life, and having a legacy, right? It's that three-legged stool. And that was some of the takeaways that were important to me when I said, this is a place I want to go to, and I want to reach out to Bill and talk about this. So is that intentional? Is that by accident or whatnot?
No, it's intentional. I mean, we're really trying to attract the people that we want to be in our world, right? So like I feel like you kind of, what you put out is what you get back in return, right? So I feel like, we want to bring in the right people, the people that want to be there, the people that want to get involved in this business, see what we're doing and want to do something similar. Like, it's just like the mastermind groups that we run and the people that come to those things. They're our friends. They're the people that we want to be around when we travel to these different events all over the place. We want to make sure that we're spending time with the people that we want to be spending time with, right? So same thing for this event. What we're putting out there is, if this is something that you're interested in and you want to be a part of it, then come join us, come check it out, and see if we're the kind of people that you want to spend once a year these events with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I think is always important is when somebody's putting on an event is knowing who it's for, and equally important is who it's not for. So why don't we first talk about who it's not for, and then we can go from there.
Correct. So I think the biggest thing is who it's for. Here's what we talk about pretty much is we talk about marketing, we talk about sales, and we talk about the back end fulfillment and operations of a business, hiring, training, managing people. And it's in the real estate business is the prime focus, right? So if you're a real estate wholesaler, flipper, a landlord who's trying to find their own deals or negotiate contracts or dealing with sellers, or even, buying properties and renovating houses and fixing them up and getting them rented out. There's that aspect of it, right? So wholesalers, flippers for sure. I think landlords, if you're going to look for your own properties, negotiating contracts, and if you're not, I think you should be, really kind of prospecting and looking for deals all the time. And the best place is to go to the source. So showing you how to do some of that stuff. And then the other part of it is the mindset piece that we talked about. There's a ton of that, like breaking through barriers, like getting around the right people, and limitless potential and tapping into that and things like that. We had a speaker last year. It just totally changed the way that I think about everything. So like that, I think anybody can get something from this. I think the person who's going to really monetize on an event like this is absolutely kind of the wholesaler, flipper, landlord. But I mean, commercial real estate, you're in there negotiating. We have a lot of realtors that come and who want to get into flipping, or want to kind of figure out how to work with some of their buyers and sellers and things like that in that industry, and work with investors more, and network and talk with them and things like that. So we see a lot of that. Just people in the real estate industry maybe doing some cross training or trying to see what that looks like for them as a potential. It's family oriented. It's not. We see a lot of families. I actually last year maybe I shouldn't say this because somebody will bring their really young kids. Yeah. But I gave away the ticket. We had this family. It was a husband and wife, and their two kids were there. And the little boy was like 7 years old, and he was just like eating it up. And so I did like a contest. I said just like, who's the youngest person in the room? And I guess it was him. And then there was a couple other little kids. And so I gave them some free tickets for this year for him being the youngest kid. I mean, it's like I think it was like 7 or 8 years old. They were from Ohio. So really nice family. Gave them 4 tickets for next year. So, yeah, it's very family friendly. It's not, I remember 2 years ago, there was a couple people with babies in the back crying, just getting information, taking notes, Yeah. So, yeah. And I think you said who it's not for. It's kind of hard. It's, if you're not in the real estate business or interested in it, or I mean, that's the majority of what we're talking about, right?
Right.
So, there's a leadership and mindset aspect of this for sure. But if that's not your interest, it's probably not for you. But I think that a landlord could come for sure. I think some people in the multifamily space could get something from this, as far as negotiating with sellers, marketing, hiring and training teams, leading people, stuff like that. I mean, it's really what we spend a lot of time talking about, is that what's moving the needle in people's businesses and industry, and what do they need right now? Things are changing in the marketplace. The cheese is moving. We're just trying to figure out what that looks like in real time. So, I mean, our speakers, I'm still working on the lineup and what they're going to talk about, because we're not coming up with that 6 months ahead. This industry moves so fast. So, I don't know. It's probably not for you if you're like a janitor and you're not interested in real estate. It's probably not for you.
Yeah. So a couple of things. So first off, if you're in the business, buying, flipping, doing, one to, a couple of deals a month or a quarter, this is absolutely for you. This is probably prime time stuff. I don't think there's any questions about that. I think you're probably underselling landlords. And again, maybe it's just because that's who I was for 15 years. As a buy and hold individual, I was stuck because I didn't go to events like this, buying out of the multiple listing service. Now, granted, because I did my homework and did all the research and was willing to spend ungodly amount of focused execution, I made it work. But most people don't have that just wired DNA to just do something repetitively for 10 years straight. What I wish I would have done is connected with folks like yourself earlier, got around more people, because I would have been pulled earlier in the pipeline. right? Maybe I would have just done half my deals in the MLS, or maybe I would have done as many in the MLS, but I would have had another access to deals. As a buy and hold individual, you make your money when you buy. And it's really hard to do that out of the MLS. So if you could find a way to get around organizations, you don't have to do direct mail, right? I still don't do direct mail today. That's totally okay. But if you can get around individuals, understand what's important to them, and then maybe partner with them. Maybe they have the operations in place and you want to give them your criteria, right? If you want 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses on a quarter-acre lot that are yellow, guess what? Tell somebody in your market, your business that's doing that, and then maybe float 50% of the cost for a mailer like that. I mean, there's so many things you could do as a buy and hold guy if you get around individuals like you in events like this. I really do think you're underselling a buy and hold because if you can pull us earlier to the buying cycle, we'll get better deals. And then we'll understand capital. That was the other thing that you're going to see in an event like this is how to use capital, both hard money and private money. Flippers and wholesalers use that, whether they're just assigning contracts or double closing. They have worked out the hard money, private money, in, out very fast. I think landlords can learn from that. And I think more buy and hold people should go in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. The networking opportunity there is pretty insane too. So, I've seen people do deals that partnerships have formed. We had a partnership that formed and they did $1 million in the first year in profit. Is insane from this event. And so we've seen some really crazy things happening. You touched on something also that I didn't really cover was kind of the experience level, right? I covered kind of like who it was, but experience level. So I think this is great even for somebody who's just like, this is that entry level kind of, let me go to an event, check it out, see if it's for me. Like, could I do this? And what's interesting is people sit in this room and go, you know what? I can do this. Like, this person is just like me, or I'm actually smarter than the guy up there. Like, that guy, I have more skills than that guy, and he's running $1 million business. Yeah. I have no doubt that when I'm up there, there's going to be half the audience or more that's going to look and say, if he can do it, I can do it, because that's how I felt when I joined one of these groups. Was I'm looking around the room going, I can build a better company than some of these guys. Nothing against those people, but I'm also very competitive and confident.
Yeah, so, just a little bit, huh?
Yeah. So somebody who wants to get in this business and wants to check it out, this is like the best way to just kind of dip your toe in, because it's not one of those like free event that you come to that gives you a little bit and then you have to go to the back of the room and then pay $5,000 for the next weekend, and then they'll give you a little bit more and then you're going to pay $15,000 and then they're going to give you a little bit more and it's $35,000 till the next thing you know, you have no money and they're not giving you any. They're also not adding any value to you or your business. Yeah. So the whole goal here is that you got to pay a little bit of money to come to this event, but we're going to give you the cow here at this event. And then if you want more, then we have some other mastermind groups and things like that. But there's no, like, we're not holding back on you. We're not doing any of that stuff. Like, I want to give you everything up front. And if you like what we're doing, and like you said, you want to be part of the community, then that decision makes itself. It's not anything that's a hard sell or any of that stuff. So, it's all about giving value to the marketplace and then seeing what comes. So that it's absolutely also, it's for any range of experience, in my opinion. If you're doing 100+ deals, you might think like you don't need to come to an event like this. I'm telling you right now, you will pick up, if you're doing 100+ deals and you don't come to this event, you are insane. If you move your business by 5%, you pick up one thing that changes 5% of your business. If you change 5% of my business right now, I'm making $150,000 more this year. 5% of my business. So wow. I'm pretty sure I would pay a small amount of money to come to an event to make $150,000. And if you can't pick up a 5% change in the business off of 15, 20 speakers up on stage, just opening up their business, doing things that you're probably not doing or overlooking or not thinking about, crazy. So then it leaves like kind of like the people. And those people in the middle are the people who, like, they're just ready to explode. I think we talked about this, but the difference between doing 0 deals and 1 deal is massive. Right. So that person that's doing somewhere between 1 and 5 or 1 to 6 or has done 2 deals, this is the time for this kind of personal and professional development. You will grow an insane amount from an event like this. So the only kind of like, it's like, I've never done a deal. Is this the place for me? I think so. Like, there's a lot of value. There's a lot of conversations that go on, the networking opportunity of somebody who you sit next to. You never know. This guy that's wearing t-shirt and shorts is doing 200 deals a year and you wouldn't know, you don't know. Last year in the beginning of the event, I said, hey, stand up if you've never done a deal before. And some people stood up, and it was hardly, I'd say it was probably like a third of the room, right? It's people who were just checking it out, figuring it out, right? So like 200 people. And then I said, stand up if you've done, a couple deals, or at least you've done a deal, right? So those people sat down, and then I said, okay, now sit down if you've only done one deal, And so I just kind of had people start sitting down. And then by the time I got to like, who's making 7 figures per year in income, people back in the middle, on the sides that weren't even part of our mastermind group are standing up. I mean, we probably had 60, 70, 7-figure income earners in there. So it's amazing who comes to these events. You never know who you're going to be talking to or what you're going to talk about, or, who you're going to bump into and things like that. So it's really, I'd say like this, that's why I want to bring this to the people that need it. Like that you've got to figure out how to do this. I mean, I spend a lot of money on my personal growth and professional development. It's one of the core values in my company is personal and professional development, because if the people that are working for me aren't reading books, listening to podcasts, bettering themselves, wanting to learn and grow and move up in the company, then they're not in the right spot,
That's awesome.
So,
yeah. So I just want to sort of echo a couple of things there. First and foremost, I think if you've done 0 deals and you're kind of interested in real estate, I get them a lot on my channel, right? I'm interested in real estate investing. I'm nervous because the market's getting toppy. I'm going to wait for the crash. Take that all off the table. What you need to be doing is going to an event like this, seeing 20 successful people over the course of 3 days, networking with hundreds of people, and just absorbing to make sure that you're ready to go after this. So that's the people who've done 0. It'd be a no-brainer. If you're down in Southern California, you don't go to this event, you're an idiot. Now, if you have to fly in and do all that stuff, I still think you need to be doing that. So perfect. If you're doing the 1 to 5 a year, you're right. Those people we're going to talk about quadrupling or quintupling their business, right?
Yep.
Going from making, pick a number, 60 grand a year to making 600, or it's just, those people are just going to be like rocket fuel. And then I love the comment about, hey, even if you're doing 100 deals and you improve by 5%, it's a no-brainer, right? I mean, I first of all, I did the math, right? 5% to make 150 grand, $3 million. So congratulations. That's
thanks. Yeah. So that's our target this year. So it was, and we just spent our whole quarter trying to figure out how to hit like 760,000 in just wholesale this quarter. So, but I'll tell you, you're exactly right. Like the people that are doing deals, like on my level, like 200 deals, 300 deals a year, sometimes those folks will kind of like sit on their mountain and say, I've got this, I don't need anything else. And this is an event for newbies. Yeah. And I think that's like probably the worst thing that you can do. You got to continue to sharpen your axe all the time. Like we're always if I go to these events now, like the mastermind meetings, the different groups that I'm in, I go in, if I just pick up 1 or 2 things, and in fact, my goal is only to leave there with one thing to change. Like if I go out and I pick up 10 different things and try to implement them, I'm never going to be successful implementing them in a big organization, right? So I just want to pick like one thing. What's the one thing that I'm going to take from this at the end and go try to work on it and really focus on it? Where when I was just getting going in these groups, it would be, I got these like 10 things, I'm going to go take them. And I could, because it was just me, and maybe me and one other person, I could have the capacity to do it all. And now I'm more directing and like air traffic control almost. So let's do one. Let's see how it goes, and let's spend some money. Let's set aside some budget to see if that works. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll try something else.
This is exactly why your event's going to be the first one I go to. And again, I've been in real estate for almost 20 years as a buy and hold guy. I've been to plenty of real estate meetups, right? The whole 3 hours on Friday or whatever sessions. Spoke a lot of times, but I've never paid to go to an event. Right, to a 3-day event to go. So, I'm happy to say that coming to your event is going to be the first one. So I'm going to be taking notes, man. There's going to be a lot of people changing my life. So I'm going to come away with 5 to 10 things. So I look forward to that. But I want to tease some people. I think we're ready to announce the keynote speaker, if I remember correctly. You want to Give a little
Yeah.
shout.
So we just got we still got like some wet ink on the contract for this thing. So I've been really waiting to kind of like put it out to anybody and commit to it, because once you kind of do that, it's hard to go back. Right.
Yeah, you lose negotiating power.
Yeah. So, I have the guy's book right here. So, I was rereading it and pulling some things out before my event. So this book has changed kind of the way that I look at, and I'll just kind of, I'll just take a minute.
Sure, please.
I'm a military guy. I flew helicopters and airplanes for the Navy, active duty for almost 15 years, and I'm a reservist now. I fly down to Pensacola, and so these guys, these Navy SEALs, we used to train with them out in San Diego. I was stationed in San Diego in the helicopter, and they would fast rope and rappel and parachute, and we'd drop them off out of our helicopter all the time in the water. We'd drop their boats off, and they'd climb the ladder up as we were at night, at 15 feet over the water. So all this stuff, just seeing them and doing all this stuff has always been really amazing to me. And they're kind of like the same reason why I got involved in Operation Underground Railroad. I feel like these are the guys are kicking down doors. They're kind of like my people in the military, right? So I found that when I started in this business, I was able to scale and grow really fast. And I think the number one thing that going back and looking back over the last 4 years, and people ask me all the time, how'd you do what you did? And I think leadership is probably the number one thing that I got from the military that allowed me to look into people, hire, train, and manage those people appropriately for their skill sets, and lead them to where they want to go and hire the right people. Like, we have to have this inherent leadership to hire the right people when we're not doing what they want to make X amount of money, but we can't pay them X amount of money unless we do more. We need them to do more. It's this catch-22. So you've really got to, I've always found you got to motivate these people and lead them before you hire them. They got to see where your vision and where you want to go. You have to present it to them, and then they'll come on board. If you want A players, when you have a C business and trying to get to a business like I was, you got to lead them into that. And so when I read this book, I was like, wow, there's ways of leadership and development and all the things that I think I just inherently learned in the military and was instilled in me from my dad when he was in the military, that this book is almost like our operating manual now in my company. So when I read it and we had this event, I said, you know what? Like, I listened to this guy, Jocko Willink, on his podcast on what he does and what he puts out there. I read this book. I read his book after this, The Dichotomy of Leadership. And it's just kind of changed the way that I now look at how I act with my people and how I live my life, basically. So I said, we have this platform. We can hire somebody like this to come speak. So I'm going to bring him in if I can. So I reached out to them to see like what the cost was and what does it look like and all this stuff. So it's shocking what happens when you write a bestseller and start going on stage. So, but we made an agreement. We got him to come. So he's going to come speak at our event. And I am going to be sitting in the front row like a fanboy watching this keynote speech. And I'm just really excited at what he's going to share for our group for leadership and development and things. And so this is kind of that piece that a lot of real estate investors read this book and talk about this book in my circles that are leading a team and have 10, 15, 20 people working for them. And I think that this is going to go across just the one-man show, never done a deal. This is that speaker that is going to touch everybody in the audience. So some speakers that come up, there's going to be people in the stands that relate to them. And this guy is going to be one that I think just across the board, everybody's just going to be sitting there shutting up and listen, or they're probably going to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jocko Willink is the author of Extreme Ownership, obviously, how U.S. Navy SEALs lead and win, and The Dichotomy of Leadership. He's written a couple other books. Him and Leif Babin wrote this book and some others. So it basically surrounds the Battle of Ramadi and a lot of the work that they did overseas, and how it's really cool because they take the tactical things that they're doing, and then they teach a lesson, and then they do a business implementation for each chapter. So and if you're gonna take, I would listen to it, but it's really cool to listen to them kind of go through and tell the story of the battle that they're in and stuff. But he's going to come and he's going to spend some time with us, hang out, get some pictures, do his keynote speech, and So I think it's going to be really cool. So this is really like the first time that I've kind of like put it out there because that either he couldn't make it or it wouldn't work out. We were negotiating kind of timing and all that stuff to make sure it worked. Yeah. And in fact, his team, I've also hired 2 members of his team to come in on Monday with our 8-figure mastermind group and do a full day leadership session with us and our COOs. So like the leadership team of our companies on Monday. So it's kind of this, we have this whole week event that went down there. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for our masterminds, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the event. Is going to come speak at the event. So that's awesome. If you know who he is, or you heard of him, or you're interested in checking it out, that's just like one of the 20 speakers that we have coming. So
yeah, do me a favor, hold that book up one more time.
Yeah.
This book is one that I'm about 50 pages from being done, and it's already changed how I lead or feel as a person. Also respect what they've done. I got to tell you what. Going to that keynote is worth the price of admission, let alone all the other stuff we're going to go through. Let's just take that off the table. Having him come out as the keynote speaker, I had no idea who to expect, but you blew me away, right? To attract somebody like that to come out and talk is pretty fantastic. I can tell you this: we're going to have to do another interview where we talk about other speakers coming, because if that's where we're at, this show is just going to blow people away. So we can plan on doing that in a week or so.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like that.
Why don't we talk about what you're willing to do, right? We had a quick chat over text or messenger about, getting together and doing this kind of interview style. And you came back and said, I want to do something special. So why don't you sort of paint that picture?
Yeah. So obviously we're selling tickets to the event. It's in San Diego, October 10th through the 12th. So it's Friday, Saturday. It's downtown San Diego, right by the gas lamp. It's at the Hilton Bayfront overlooking Coronado. In fact, when I was a helicopter pilot, I used to fly right over that bridge. I don't remember. I think it was 500 and 800 feet were the 2 altitudes that we flew over the Coronado Bridge. So on Thursday and Friday, we'll see the helicopters, my helicopter that I used to fly, just flying through. But it overlooks the water. It's just a beautiful place. You can walk to the gas lamp. It's we've been, this is our 4th year there, and we've like finally been able to get to this like downtown San Diego, this beautiful resort. So a really cool place. So I encourage you to stay there at the Hilton Bayfront. And yeah, so right now, if you go to fliphackinglive.com, you'll see our tickets. We're selling them for $695 for 1 ticket, and then $995 for 2 tickets. So I talked to Michael. Obviously, I want to do something for his fans, and so don't buy them at fliphackinglive.com, because if you're listening to this, then you have a better deal than that. So I kind of just I don't know. I think I cut the price in half, so maybe a little bit more. So if you go to fliphackinglive.com/1rental instead, we did $395 for 1 ticket and $595 for 2 tickets. So like $600 off if you buy 2, $300 off 1. So almost in half there. But I haven't put out anything that good. So I figured we got Jocko Willink. We got the 4th of July coming up. It's independence. We're trying to be independent from our jobs, time, money, freedom, right? So yeah. Let's do something. Let's do a special here. So
that's awesome. And something I just want to put out there is something that's very common in this business is, I don't know, affiliate marketing or things of that nature. It's very common for people who run events to offer a piece to people that are helping their advertise and push their concept. And when you offered that to me, which again is very common, I said, no thanks. That's not what I do. I don't want a single piece of this. I'm here to help. If I like you, I'm going to help you. I don't want any money from this. So I just wanted to get that out there. And can you validate that back and forth?
Yeah, that is 100% true. In fact, I was like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And you know what, that's what was able to give me, like, I can give you guys even better deal, because basically Michael passed it on to you guys. So right. That's the same thing that I do in the mastermind groups. We work with a lot of third-party vendors to bring in discounts for our members. And we don't take referral. I'd rather pass it on to our members. They're already paying to be in the group. They're already doing all the things that they do. And that's, my response to you was like, that's why I really appreciate you and think that you're the guy that you are, and you will attract way more with that kind of, but it's about like why you're building your platform, right? Yep. You're clearly building this platform and going out to people on these these interviews, the writing books to give, not to get. So you've what you need to do. You've made it. You're happy where you are. And this is more about giving back. And that's important because that's how I feel too. Like with what we're doing in this business and what we are providing on stage at this event is about giving back to them. And I know that if I give a ton of value, that somebody's going to be interested and want to, work with us a little more. So that's what it's all about. It's just, I'm going to deliver as much value as possible, expecting nothing in return. Yeah. And that's what was instilled in me in this business. And to find people in the real estate business and doing good things, like that's who I want to attract to this is, we bring in a charity, which we should probably talk about on the next one, but, and it's all about giving back. Last year we gave $150,000 to Operation Underground Railroad, from our event. And we matched quite a bit of that. So it's trying to figure out what we can do together to have the integrity to work together to figure out, like, why are we doing this? It's not just I'm not collecting all this money and stuffing it in my basement.
That's no fun.
We want to do something. And so I really appreciate that you did that and you said that and the way that you handled that. It's important because.
This is what I hope for people watching this. If you're still watching this on my channel, is I hope to see no less than 50 of you there because I'm going, and I'm hoping we're taking pictures with the book. We're sitting together, we're doing selfies, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff together. I'd love to see 50 people who watch one rental at a time there, because I know I'm trying to help folks and I'm out seeking people that can help me. And when I find them, I bring them to the channel. So I'm not taking a dollar from any of this. And again, I hope to see 50 of you there. So what is the URL one more time?
Yeah, it's Flip Hacking Live. So FLIP hackinglive.com/one-rental. So you know what you should do? You should have them bring their book and do like a little meetup at the event, like during a lunch or something like that. That'd be awesome. So.
There you go. Well, I'll put some thought to that in our next video where we talk about the charity, we talk about other additional speakers, and then I'll have more thoughts around people that are coming from one rental. I'll figure that out before the next interview. So Bill, this has been a lot of fun.
There with that one.
Oh, awesome. I need that selfie.
Yeah. Oh, you'll get it. All right. I'll bring my book and I'll come to the lunch maybe.
Oh, I appreciate that. All right, man. I appreciate it. Any last thoughts or anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I'd love to see your people there too. I mean, it would be awesome. I want to go to some of the different communities and people that I respect in this industry and that I've spoken to and things like that. And it's just kind of see who are their people, right? And because if you go, I know that I want you at this event. And if I want you at this event, I want the people that listen to you and follow you and things like that at this event, because those are the kind of people that we want to be around. It's not, I'm not going to go to the people that I don't want at the event and their people, right? So,
exactly.
So no, that's it. I'd love to see some of your books. I'll tell you what, you get, let's get 50 or 60 of you there and I'll get on stage and hold my book up. Everybody holds their book up. We take a bunch of pictures and go crazy. And man, we can make it like a great commercial for your YouTube channel.
That would be
we could do all kinds of crazy stuff. Get Jocko to get a selfie with the book. So,
that would be fun.
We'll do something. So I would love it. So I just look forward to seeing you there and picking this up again in a couple of weeks if you want to do another one.
We're going to do another one. I look forward to it again. Thank you very much for all you do. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks again, man.
Absolutely. You got it.